Another advisor said his farewells today. Clinton's top political strategist, James Carville, joked that he would not trust a government that would hire him. That makes him the only Clinton aide not angling for a top job.
Hey, guys, they didn't give me state. I don't know what to say. I quit.
Clinton's staff wants him to keep as focused during the transition as he was during Clinton's staff memo, which he has not seen. It advises him to focus on policy more than personnel, claim a legislative mandate, use executive orders to create a perception of action, pick legislative priorities that will pass quickly and don't waste time on those that won't, claim credit but don't waste energy on legislation that will pass anyway, including Democratic priorities such as family leave, the Abortion Rights Act, and campaign finance reform. Clinton has also been told to learn from Jimmy Carter's mistakes.
You have to avoid coming up with too ambitious a legislative agenda which throws things on the Congress which they can't properly digest and therefore gets your presidency off to a rocky start.
Clinton met at length today with the man who helped him choose Al Gore, former Carter official Warren Christopher. Christopher will likely have a major job, possibly head of transition. Tom?
Thank you, Andrea. John Cochran is at the White House tonight, as you can see, where President Bush today was at once exercising power and also mentally packing up for the move out. John, what's the latest in the trade business?
Tom, the president told his staff today to accept the fact that the focus now is all on Bill Clinton.
The president had hoped to accept Boris Yeltsin's invitation to Moscow next month, but he sees no reason to go now.
I have no plans to go to Moscow.
But Bush is still responsible for foreign policy, and he can still make decisions affecting our lives, such as today's go-ahead for new tariffs on European imports that could triple the prices Americans pay for a French Chablis or a German Riesling. Bush hopes to pressure Europeans into lowering their tariffs on American farm products. It's big news in Europe.
A few moments ago, I was informed that the United States have just announced retaliatory action.
And it is a very serious matter indeed. And any trade war between Europe and America would seriously damage the world economy.
No, we're not engaged in a trade war just because we got some tough fighters over here on our side. But
other than the trade talks, Bush has few decisions to make. He has already refused to sign a tax bill meant to help inner cities like South Central Los Angeles. He objected to higher taxes in the bill. So Bush made it harder for Bill Clinton to find money for urban programs. But Bush told an aide, Robert Zellick, to help Clinton in the transition of power. Aides say Bush is not angry at Clinton, but there is anger at Ross Perot for his attacks on Bush, at retired Admiral William Crowell for supporting Clinton, and at Iran-Contra prosecutor Lawrence Walsh for what the White House claims is a witch hunt that hurt Bush in the election. Some top Republicans are urging Bush to retaliate by pardoning former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger and other Iran-Contra defendants.
The frustration in this White House is evident when the most animated conversations are about pardons instead of legislative or foreign policy initiatives. Tom?
Thank you, John Cochran. Foreign policy, of course, is more than a phrase. These days it translates into trouble, hotspots in too many places around the globe. And we've asked NBC's Garrick Outlay tonight to take us through the many challenges. Garrick?
Tom, Bill Clinton has had virtually no experience in international affairs. In fact, he ignored the subject for most of his campaign. He cannot ignore it now.
When Clinton spoke with Boris Yeltsin today, Russia's urgent need for help was clear. The Russian economy is ready to collapse under runaway inflation. Democracy is at risk. What does Clinton do? And then there is the agony of Bosnia. As a candidate, Clinton early on called for tougher action to stop Serbian ethnic cleansing. But he has given no indication that as president, he would commit American troops there. In the Middle East, too, there are familiar dangers. Saddam Hussein celebrated George Bush's defeat. Will he create an incident to test a young, fresh American president? The real challenge in the Persian Gulf may come not from Iraq, but the growing military power of Iran. And today, Iran's spiritual leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, warned Clinton not to make human rights an issue with his country. And then there are the new issues and challenges Clinton will face. Those close to him expect human rights, stopping the spread of nuclear weapons, and trade to be high on his agenda. In Asia, Clinton has denounced China's human rights violations, but China is on its way to becoming a major economic and trading partner of the future. For Bill Clinton, a tough call between principle and pragmatism. In China and elsewhere, the Clinton administration's foreign policy will be increasingly economic policy. Today, there were warnings of a trade war with Europe. In the new year, the free trade agreement with Mexico, negotiated by George Bush, will be voted on by a Democratic Congress. Will the Democratic president push hard for its passage? Zbigniew Brzezinski was the national security advisor of the last Democratic president, Jimmy Carter.
But if he doesn't really perform effectively on the domestic front, his international credibility is not going to be very high. Neither will America's. And as a consequence, his capacity for global leadership will be undermined.
In short, what we will see under President Clinton will be a merging of foreign and domestic concerns. The two can no longer be totally separated as national security becomes economic security. Tom?
Thank you, Gary. And tonight, kids. We have a disturbing story out of California. Diana Karicki, and how the number of children killed by their parents is now skyrocketing. That story when Nightly News continues.
When your sinus and nasal congestion feels this bad, what can you do? Last year, you wanted to call the doctor. Last year, you wanted a prescription. But this year, Tavus D in its full prescription strength is available without a prescription. Just one tablet helps relieve 12 hours worth of painful congestion and sneezing.
Guess what? I'll be there after all.
Tavus D. One tablet, 12 hours, and now no prescription.
It's night and day the difference Correctol makes when I'm irregular. Correctol is the gentlewoman's laxative that works predictably overnight.
No wonder more women trust it.
Correctol, gently, predictably, overnight.
An unusual warning today from the American Automobile Association. Drivers should stay away from Interstate Highway 295. That's the bypass around Jacksonville, Florida. Since June, that road has become a highway from hell. But it's not a problem just in Florida, it turns out, and we have more now from NBC's Robert Hager.
There have been 36 cases of vehicles hit by bullets or thrown chunks of concrete. In July, the driver of this car was killed. 3 weeks later, a gunshot pierced the window of Deborah Lewis's car. She was hit in the jaw. A month later, Gary Sizemore was shot at.
And I just kept getting hit. It just kept hitting me, boom, 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 just like that.
I-295 is the normal north-south route through Jacksonville for most motorists, avoiding downtown traffic. But today, AAA advised its members not to use it at all, and to use caution on I-95 through Jacksonville at night. Police had already beefed up patrols. Now Florida's National Guard is being asked to help.
The Florida case is only the latest in what authorities call a rising tide of highway violence across this country and in Canada as well.
In New Jersey today, an abandoned 3-year-old was found 2 days after she and her mother were kidnapped in a carjacking. In Los Angeles this fall, a car shot at on the Santa Monica Freeway, a window blown out. In Oakland Park, Florida, a motorist shot and killed after an argument in a traffic jam. A cameraman in Miami got this picture of an angry motorist with a pistol getting in his car. A consultant on terrorism, Louis Mizell, keeps a data bank on highway violence.
In the last 12 months, my company has recorded over 20,000 rapes, robberies, kidnappings, and murders on the nation's highways. And scores of these incidents include snipings and rock-throwing incidents, just like we're seeing in Jacksonville today.
In Canada, there have been 5 truckers shot at recently on a highway outside London, Ontario.
I mean, I just couldn't believe it. You know, I mean, it was such a shock. You know, why would anybody do something like this?
Why? Tonight, that's what authorities everywhere are asking, and motorists as well. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
There is a new problem tonight for motorists in cities with the dirtiest, most unhealthy air. The Environmental Protection Agency announced very tough auto emission tests. The EPA ordered 181 cities to reduce pollution by going under the hood of each car to check for gas vapor leaks. These extensive tests will take about 10 minutes, not the current 10 seconds for tailpipe emissions. It's estimated that 1 in 5 cars will fail the new testing in those cities where their concerns are most keenly felt. The rules will not take effect until 1996. The children of Los Angeles County. A report out today says that for many, family life is a nightmare. Beatings, sexual abuse, and more children now are being murdered at home. NBC's Diana Karicki.
Edward Saavedra, charged with the murder of his 3-month-old son. The mother, Elizabeth Madrid, charged with abuse of the child. A tragedy in the barrio.
Yes, my baby stopped breathing. Okay, ma'am? Yes. Is he conscious? No, he's not.
Doctors found the baby brain dead from a severe beating.
There's hemorrhages in the brain. There's hemorrhages in the eyes. There's bruises in the head, in the face, in the abdomen.
Today's report shows that in LA County, the number of children killed by their parents or caretakers has hit an all-time high. 61 murders last year, up 33% in 1 year, and nearly 3/4 of the victims under the age of 2.
We are not finding these children soon enough. You don't have much time to find a child who is 1 year or 2 years old.
What this study points out is that there aren't nearly enough social services for children. What services there are overwhelmed, and often it's the tiniest victims who are overlooked. The Plaza Community Center is one of the few to provide parenting classes for mothers who've been heavy users of drugs or alcohol. According to the report, the common denominator among parents who've killed their kids.
You know, you find a lot of answers here, and it helps you, you know.
But LA County is so strapped for funds, this program may have to shut down. And the report says a weak economy makes parents more likely to abuse or even kill their kids.
We're not making any attempt to change people. We're just punishing.
Most developed countries send a social worker to visit the home of every newborn child, rich or poor. The exceptions? South Africa and the United States. Diana Karicki, NBC News, Los Angeles.
In a moment, what the owners of small business in this country want from Bill Clinton.
Now it's a lonesome old world when you have to fight it all alone.
At Maytag, we still build them to last longer and need fewer repairs.
And it's twice as hard to take when I'm sitting all alone.
Maytag.
All alone.
The dependability people.
You probably think you know all you need to know about Anacin. Well, you don't know everything. Anacin is such a strong pain reliever, headache sufferers find Anacin more effective against stubborn headaches than regular strength aspirin. So if you get the kind of headaches that affect your work, the kind that put you in a bad mood, the kind that keep you from enjoying yourself, rediscover Anacin for stubborn headache pain.
Gas pressure means pain and bloating. And the way doctors see it, your best choice for relief is Mylanta Gas. It has the best medicine for gas.
America Close Up tonight. Bill Clinton will have no shortage, of course, of people knocking on his door asking for help as he gets to work on the economy. And small business owners are no exception. They especially want relief from the high rates that they're paying on government loans. NBC's chief economics correspondent Irving R. Levine begins his report tonight in Hauppauge, New York.
Carmen Chappelle, like 4,000 other small business owners, took out a government loan at high interest rates years ago. Now rates are low. She wants to refinance. But if she does, she must pay a huge penalty, a penalty imposed by the government.
It's ironic to me that the same government that is lowering the interest rates to enhance the economy is the same government that is penalizing the small business people and not enabling us to refinance our loans.
Carmen Chappelle's loan was for $115,000 at 12%. Now she could get a bank loan at 7% and would save $400 a month in payments. But the U.S. Treasury would hit her with a $30,000 prepayment penalty.
if I were paying less, I would have more money to use for salaries to hire people, and those people in turn would be paying taxes, and they would not be unemployed.
The loan agreements with the Small Business Administration, the SBA, do contain a penalty clause. Still, it came as a belated shock to Gerald Goldberg, who rents out party equipment.
I'd never heard of a prepayment penalty in all the many loans that I've taken out prior to this. It just never dawned on me that there would be such a provision.
The SBA is willing to forego the prepayment penalties, but the Treasury Department says no. It doesn't want to lose the interest payments. NBC News has learned that the head of the SBA, Patricia Psyche, personally appealed to Treasury Secretary Nicholas Brady on several occasions, but was turned down. Nevertheless, on U.S. loans to foreign countries, including Israel, Turkey, and Greece, Treasury has in recent years forgiven prepayment penalties much bigger than those involved in the SBA loans. Prepayment by people like print shop owner Patricia Brobst would mean no loss of principal for the U.S. Treasury and would remove a huge burden from borrowers.
At some point, I would like to turn the business over to my children, and unable to do that because of the penalty on the Small Business Administration loan.
Some members of Congress want to force Treasury's hand through legislation next year.
80% of the new jobs created in 1992 will be from small business, and the prepayment schedule of this kind is absolutely outrageous.
Critics say that the Treasury's prepayment penalty amounts to loan sharking, but the Treasury says that a deal is a deal. And even though eliminating the penalty could help the economy, Treasury is refusing to budge. Irving R. Levine, NBC News, Washington.
A top Clinton economic advisor told NBC News that Clinton could very well reverse the current Treasury policy on small business loans in an effort to stimulate job growth and, of course, to boost the economy.
Norelco doesn't just shave close, but incredibly close. Or merely shave in comfort, but exceptional comfort. Because inside Norelco's floating heads, our lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can drop below skin level without the blades touching your face. And once you've shaved that close and comfortable, you know you'll always be comfortable shaving with Norelco. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
1 a.m., still awake. Your fever's worse. The coughing and congestion just keep you awake. This flu you handled today now feels out of control. You've got the night flu and you need maximum relief. TheraFlu introduces new maximum strength nighttime, the strongest hot liquid formula ever made. It relieves your worst flu symptoms so you can get the sleep you desperately need. New maximum strength nighttime from TheraFlu. Maximum flu relief so you can sleep.
Before you freeze, remember this rule of thumb. Get Ziploc brand freezer bags with the gripper zipper. Tough, tiny teeth you can feel gripping, so you know freshness is locked in, freezer burns out. Do like me. Protect your ears. There's only one Ziploc.
Ethan Allen introduces the American Dimensions Collection. Eclectic and most agreeably priced. For people who really love to live at home. Right now, there's a sale going on at your local Ethan Allen.
Things you never heard about a brand cereal before.
Wow.
If you've never heard this about a brand cereal, try Kellogg's Frosted brand. It's different. It's lightly frosted, and it's crunchy, so it tastes delicious. Kellogg's Frosted brand. It sure doesn't sound like bran. Oh, one more thing you never heard.
You know that's bran you're eating.
I know, it's great.
Here's a quick check now of some of today's other news. Bobby Fischer, the comeback kid in big-time chess in Yugoslavia. Fischer won his match with Boris Spassky 10-5, and so he collects more than $3 million. And this is chess, folks. In New Jersey, the family of the late Rose Cipollone, a smoker, dropped its 10-year injury suit against 3 tobacco companies. There was no explanation. A cold spell from Canada. Is this winter already? The front brought snow to Ohio and 4 other Midwestern states. Temperatures below freezing across the central and northern plains today. With some heartwarming thoughts now, here's John Chancellor with commentary tonight. John.
Thank you, Tom. Next January, George Bush will finish one term as president. And unless death intervenes, there will then be 5 former presidents, all alive. According to my calculations, we have had 5 living former presidents only once before, in 1861 when James Buchanan left the White House. We live in an age of one-term presidents. It wasn't always that way. During the 30 years that began in 1932, Americans lived through the presidencies of only 3 men: Roosevelt, Truman, and Eisenhower. 3 presidents during the Depression, the Second World War, and the important post-war years. In the next 30 years, however, Americans lived through the presidencies of 7 men. 6 of those presidencies were troubled. John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Lyndon Johnson was forced out by the Vietnam War. Richard Nixon had to resign. Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and George Bush were defeated. Only Ronald Reagan served 2 full terms, and his popularity isn't very high today. Aside from most of the Reagan years, it's been a jittery time for the presidency and a jittery time for the American people as presidents came and went. Half of the population grew up believing the president stayed in office for a long time. The other younger half of the population sees a revolving door in the Oval Office. That means our expectations of the presidency are lower. Presidencies don't seem as important as they once did, especially when there are now 5 of them around.
Thank you, John. Economic news now. Some of the nation's biggest retailers report sales last month were better than expected. Walmart had a 16% gain. JCPenney was up more than 7%. On Wall Street, this news helped push stocks higher today. Trading today was very heavy.
How about dessert from Presto Salad Shooter?
Shoot some slices, salad shooter.
Point and shoot right into dessert or fruit salad.
Shoot some shreds, salad shooter.
For chocolatey, nutty dessert toppings.
Shoot it fast, shoot it neat, shoot it pretty salad shooter.
Presto Salad Shooter Slicer Shredder. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe, small enough to store anywhere. Great salads and much, much more.
Salad shooter.
The original salad shooter and professional salad shooter from Presto.
Day after day, you make those glasses of thick Metamucil disappear. Why not make them all disappear with FiberCon? Doctor-recommended FiberCon gives you the same fiber regularity in tablets.
Easy to swallow tablets.
Get doctor-recommended FiberCon.
It takes a special kind of car to pass the test we give at Oldsmobile, like Cutlass Sierra, recently ranked the best model in initial quality in its price class by J.D. Power & Associates. What's more, of all the Cutlass Sierras sold in the last 10 years, 95% are still on the road. So if you're looking for a quality car, you know exactly where to look. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Visit your local dealer and get great deals on every model during Oldsmobile's 95th birthday celebration.
When your sinuses are closing in on you, what you need is a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex adds Vicks Vapors to its decongestant, so at last you can feel your sinuses open up. For sinus, think Sinex.
My granny's spaghetti recipe. With ordinary grated topping? Oops. Some are 1/3 fats and fillers, but Kraft is 100% grated Parmesan for 100% great taste. Granny would approve.
In art, taste is subjective, but in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food, exceptionally moist and delicious. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
It is an unusual combination of professions, professional football and the law, but then the man who has managed to do both is not your run-of-the-mill football player or lawyer. He only plays at the top. NBC's Mike Leonard tonight on the transition from Purple People Eater to Your Honor.
For a man who ran as hard as he did, the reaction to victory is uncharacteristically timid. Alan Page, tell us how you feel about being elected to the Minnesota Supreme Court.
Well, it's a little scary.
That from the Alan Page who once scared the daylights out of a huge constituency of pro football players. The Hall of Fame defensive tackle played 15 years, mostly with the Minnesota Vikings. Known for his brute strength and aggressiveness, he longed for the day when he could show off the powers of his intellect. So upon retirement, he went to work as a lawyer in private practice, then as Assistant Attorney General. In August, he won a lawsuit to place his name on the ballot for the state Supreme Court, a position usually filled by political political appointees. Page's success in opening the process opened him to the sneering comments of those who still believed in the stereotypical image of the dumb jock.
I've learned that life can be ugly and that people can be small.
Compared to a sizable man who decided to run in a state that had never elected a black person to the higher court. That void, says Page, gave people of color
the perception that the system was unfair.
And your election would at least
in some small way begin to change that perception.
A cause that drove Alan Page all around the state, campaigning alone in front of business groups, TV news audiences, high school students, all the standard political stops.
Success doesn't just happen.
He kept stressing educational reform, while they kept asking for autographs and football predictions.
But ask him to boil things down and give the people of Minnesota a 2 or 3 sentence summary of who he is besides a former football player.
That's the problem. There is no 2 or 3. I mean, there is no short answer to that. For me to talk about who I am, you'll never have enough airtime.
A 6-year term should help fill in the blanks. Mike Leonard, NBC News, Minneapolis.
Good luck. Thank you.
That's Nightly News for Thursday. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Happy when she's gone.
For those of you who would like to hear more from Lovett, he has a new album out entitled Joshua Judges Ruth.
He does have some pretty clever songs out there, although you couldn't tell from what we just listened to.
That was
Nice
pretty
voice.
straightforward.
Anyway, Matt has a nice voice, too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As a matter of fact,
Roberts about her prospects of being recruited into the Clinton administration. It is a flattering prospect and a flattering question. But Governor Roberts put it aside. She has other pressing business, and she knows it. Her budget has been drafted for the opening of the January session of the Oregon legislature. She has 2 versions to submit. Both are difficult, and perhaps one of them is even workable. Since the defeat of her first budget proposal during a special July legislative session, members of the Oregon House and Senate have been at work in a bipartisan effort to come up with their own version of government reorganization and tax reform. Calling themselves the Oregon Futures Committee, they expect to come together with members of the House Revenue Committee this month and next with a final proposal. They must also decide whether they will or won't ask for that special year-end session of the legislature they've been talking about since last summer. Governor Roberts has done her work in the budget. Now it's time for her to help lead legislators along some constructive path to resolution of our own pending budget crisis. Her only overture to the Clinton administration should be gaining approval for the Oregon health care plan, and soon. I'm Rick Myers.
If you would like to